friends, my name is Erin and I am excited to share with you my January TBR. I spent a little bit of time trying to figure out what TBR, game, drawing, etc. that I wanted to do this year. And I think I've been struggling with just not having anything tangible. I know that may sound weird, but I like to write things down. I like to make a list. I like to have a final product. And then I remembered this art project thing that I got that I have never done. So I am going to be making this into a TBR. Not a TBR game. A TBR prompt related activity. A TBR craft. I'm going to be doing a TBR craft this year. So each of these flowers will be getting made based on how many books I'm reading. I think there is going to be a month where I'm adding the leaves. Hopefully I will read enough books each month to make a full flower. I also decided that each month is going to have a theme. The theme for January is really focusing on the newness of the year. What are my goals? What new things do I want to do? Each month, every 5th prompt is just big book, getting through a big series, those kinds of things. And every 10th prompt, if I get that far, will be a vlog. So I'm going to show you the prompts I have for January. Prompt number 1 is 300 pages or less. Starting with an easy start. The book I want to read is A Court of Frost and Starlight. I would love to continue on with this series, and this novella falls between book 3 and 4, if I am correct. So the problem is I don't own this book, and I don't know that my library has it. I need to check. So if my library has it, I will be reading A Court of Frost and Starlight. If not, I'm going to be reading one of the kids' books off my shelf. This is one of my Boxcar Children books called The Pizza Mystery. I obviously want to read all the books on my shelf, and I need to get through my smaller ones, even though I'm usually less incentivized to pick them up. So if I can't get A Court of Frost, I can never remember the title, A Court of Frost and Starlight, then you'll see me reading Boxcar Children. A less exciting start to the year, but still reaching a goal, you know? Okay, book number 2, the prompt is new series. I don't know that I really need to be starting new series at this point, but I have a lot of first books on my shelf, including Blood Heir. I've always loved the cover. This is a book I've had on my shelf for a while. It follows a princess who has a blood magic gift, and when her father is murdered, she's blamed for his death. So she ends up going on the run. I don't know much about the story after that. I picked it up because of the cover, and I'm excited to read it and try it out. Prompt number 3 is new author. I'm going to pick up another one of my kids' books. This is The True Story of D-Day by Henry Brooke. I've never read a book by Henry Brooke, and also I feel like this one is going to be shorter and easier to get through. Okay, new release. I am going to be reading 2 books for this. The first one is going to be an audiobook, and these are 2023 releases. I don't read releases very often, so new release is the last calendar year. The first one is an audiobook that I have on my wish list called The Little Book of Exoplanets. This is a nonfiction book about when people are looking for planets similar to Earth, they find a lot of planets that are not similar to Earth. So this is a story about some of the wilder planets that they have found, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm not explaining that very well, but it sounds really cool to read about a ton of planets that are out there that are vastly different from ours. I usually read 2 audiobooks a month, so this is going to be one of them. However, I cannot pass up the opportunity to read Lore Olympus Volume 5. I will probably just end up doubling up on this prompt because I want to pick this up in January. Prompt number 5 for my big book. I am trying to finish the Throne of Glass series this year. So Tower of Dawn. I literally bought this today because my library only had 1 copy and it has been out forever. So whoever has it is not returning it. And I use that as an excuse to just buy this book. I have all the others on my shelf anyway. The problem is I really love this cover and I don't have the others in this cover. Having different cover styles doesn't really bother me, aside from the fact that I kind of just love these enough that there is a piece of me that just wants to buy the whole series in these. And I don't think that's reasonable, really, or necessary. I loved Shadow of an Empire and the way that ended. And so I'm happy to keep moving forward with Throne of Glass. I also just have been enjoying Sarah J. Maas again. I kind of put that author on pause for a while for no particular reason and picked them back up last year and fell right back in love with their writing. So this is my big book. It is 660 pages, so not horrible. Still chunky. Prompt number 7 is new purchase. I recently bought Arcanum Unbound because there are some short stories in here that I want to read before moving forward with my Cosmere journey. I'm going to be honest, I have them written down somewhere, like the order I want to read the Cosmere, and I can't find it at this exact moment. So for this prompt, I would be reading 4 of these short stories. At the moment, I cannot tell you which 4. So far in the Cosmere, I've read Warbreaker, Elantris, and the first 3 Mistborn books. So maybe you know which of these I'll be reading, because I know there's so many lists out there for what order to read things in. Anyway, new purchase. Okay, prompt number 7 is new favorite. Obviously, I don't know if this is going to be a new favorite, but my second audiobook, Flower Heart, is what I'm choosing for this one. I saw this and fell in love with the cover. I favorited it and added it to my wish list before I even knew the plot. And it's a romance. And so I feel like it'll just be lovely. And romance, fairy tale vibes. It's about a girl who has flower magic, if I remember right. But I love the cover and I want it to be a new favorite, because then if I like the audiobook, I can buy it and have this beauty on my shelf. So fingers crossed, it'll be a new favorite. The 10th prompt is new journey, which I'm using it as an excuse to start Hyperion. Somebody asked me to read this a long time ago, but I don't really know anything about Hyperion, except for that a lot of people love it. And it is in that genre of sci-fi you gotta read. So I am picking it up. Part of the reason I have waited so long to read this, knowing it's a classic sci-fi gotta read kind of book, is because I'm already in the middle of the Leviathan Wakes Expanse series and Foundation by Isaac Asimov, and there is a piece of me that just worries it'll all be too much because I think this is kind of at the stretch of my sci-fi limit. I tend to be more of a fantasy reader than sci-fi, enjoy the sci-fis that I read, but sometimes they can get too dense. I'm not necessarily a reader for character, I'm a reader for plot, and there are times that sci-fi books just lean a little bit too heavy for me into character and reflection on humanity and those types of things. Now, that being said, I tend to still enjoy those books. I'm just worried that this will kind of get lost in the mix of those 3 epic series. Does that even make sense? This is also book number 10. Will I get to book number 10? I don't know. We'll see. If I get to book number 11, I'm going to be doing a vlog about another one of these book boxes. I have 4 of these left. This one is surprisingly heavy. I don't know what's in here, but it was much heavier than the other 3 that I have left. If I get to book number 11, you'll see a vlog, probably in February. I ended up doing 12 prompts for most months, I think. And so the last prompt is new genre. And that's just a genre that I don't have on this list yet. Not a totally new genre to me. And it's going to be a classic because I've been trying to read a bunch of classics. I've not been making the progress I would like to be making. So I have 3 possibilities. O Pioneer, which I can't tell you anything about, The Merchant of Venice, and The Warden. All of these I got off of a 200 books classics to read before you die type list, and all 3 of them I don't really know anything about. So you'll just have to wait and see if I get to one of these and which one I end up picking up. All right, so here is my January stack along with 2 audiobooks and 3 other books. Trying to do a little bit more library reading this year. I'm excited about all of these. I think it's going to be a good start to the year. Let me know what's on your list for the start of the year. Let me know if you're doing a new TBR game or if you don't do TBRs or TBR games. I love checking things off of a list, so I will absolutely be doing a TBR from now until the end of time. I'll see you later. Bye, friends.